This is Jermaine Ingram. Now back to the studio.
Thanks, Jermaine, for that great insight into such a controversial subject. Our next story follows the Journal's own Timothy Nichols as he adds another tattoo to his collection, and you'll never guess what it's of.
I had always been interested in tattoos, and when my sister offered me one, I figured it would be the perfect opportunity to get her story and see where she works.
Burning like an angel who has heaven in reprieve. Burning like the voodoo man with devils on his sleeve. Won't you dance with me?
I got into tattooing by asking for a job from Dave Breen, who is the owner of a tattoo shop in Vancouver called Sacred Heart Tattoo. Went to visit Dave for an hour twice a week for 3 months in order for him to give me a job working the counter. Working the counter entailed being the shop bitch, basically. I got to do everything but the tattoo. In that time working on the counter, I built a relationship with the tattooers that I was working with and the clientele that we had, and learned a lot about the dynamic of tattooing. The relationship I built with one man specifically, Chadwick Lee, who is my mentor. He's like, okay, we'll set up my station. And I was like, okay. He's like, well, you've never asked me to do that before. He's like, well, set up my machines, you're going to tattoo yourself today. And so there you go. The first day I tattooed myself. So I spent 2 years tattooing at Sacred Heart. So, that said, I came to Toronto, which kind of from Ontario, from Toronto area, and I decided I'm just going to go to OCAD and continue tattooing at New Tribe, which is a great place to be for where I'm at in tattooing. There's tons of work and people that are inspiring to work near, and so now tattooing for me is just a part of one of the mediums that I'm trying to master, and I won't be doing that anytime soon.
Ritual fertility, take a chance with me in my world.
Welcome back. I'm back here with Timothy Nichols. Thanks for coming out.
Oh, no problem. I was here anyway, so it's not that big a deal.
So, your tattoo, you got it in a very sensitive area,
Yeah,
I heard?
it's down on my lower stomach where my hip bone is, so it was pretty interesting because I'm a pretty ticklish guy around there, so it was sort of like 2.5 hours of just like grinding, burning pain of like in like the really tickly spot, but yeah, and you could feel it like almost on the hip bone. It was an interesting experience to say the least.
And it was your sister that did it?
Yeah, my sister's actually the tattoo artist, so it's sort of, I feel a little bit more comfortable with her because it's my sister, not just some stranger I've met, just putting ink in me for the rest of my life.
Well, do you mind revealing it to the world
Actually,
now?
no, I think everybody's pretty excited to see it. It's actually, it's a cat with some butterflies. I don't really know how I came up with the idea. I think I was drinking one night, and I thought it'd be a good idea to get a cat tattooed on my stomach. And my sister and I always loved cats, so here it is. It's sort of like flaky and gross right now because I got it touched up on Saturday. But yeah, it took about 2.5 hours to do, and yeah, it's probably one of my favorites just because it's so silly in sort of a good way. But yeah, I love it. I love that my sister did it for me. It's just basically one of my favorites right now, and I don't care if other people don't like it because whatever. It's okay by me.
Like, screw them.
Yeah, screw them. Like, they can hurl insults at me all they want.
You can have a cat on your stomach all you want.
Yeah, exactly.
All right, well, thanks, Tim, for coming out. We'll be back right after this short message.
Thank you for having me.
Welcome back. Now, meditation is a discipline in which the mind is focused on an object of thought or awareness. In our next story, Venessa Samuels explains further. Check it out, and when we'll be back, we'll have Felon right here on the stage.
Bustling from one point to another, we worry about how we're perceived and future outcomes, leaving us disconnected from our inner self. Meditation is one form to an inner connection.
My meditation practice started in a yoga class, so pranayama, which is more of the yoga style of meditation, and that was fine and it worked for me. And then I guess dabbled in different types of meditation, but for me personally, I feel very constricted if I'm told to do something a particular way, so I thought it'd be interesting to do meditation in a different way, just so more people would be interested in it and realize that it doesn't necessarily have to be like this, sitting on the ground or on a cushion for an hour. And there are definitely styles in meditation that require you to stay still for an hour, but I find that once you kind of encourage people to try things out a bit, they're more open to different forms of meditation. So it's more inclusive. What I usually do is improv or improvisation, and I feel that whenever you're whenever you engage in creative activities and there's no pressure to do it this way or that way, I find it's more freeing and I find it more meditative. So I basically took everything that I liked, which is writing poetry or doing visual arts and definitely music, and just put it all in one area. Yeah. Well, it ties into confidence, and it ties a lot into balance. So, in a way, informally, getting them to see that they need to maintain a balance, and that's not only important for their emotional health, but just the way they study or your ability to learn in wellness, things like that. I don't expect people to feel that they can, completely learn how to meditate in one session. It's a practice like anything, and it requires discipline. So the one thing I would like people to take away from the workshops and courses is just to learn at least one thing about mindfulness and how they can incorporate mindfulness into their lives. So just one thing, and I think that makes a huge difference. Mm-hmm.